All right, everybody. Enrique Zoltano here, aka Rock on a Ledge, aka Hakatushi, uh, aka the Masterless Master, the Lord of Should. I need to reread that one. That was a fun write. That was a really fun write. The Lord of Should. um, yeah, I keep going on. Prophet of Chaos, Prophet of Science. We're still on the word um, is Infinity series, and I've completely derailed it. I don't even know how much memory this phone has. I just got a new phone. My other phone would have ran out of memory a long time ago. I haven't even posted any of these yet. But I don't know. I'm just out here randomly talking. I guess getting drunk and talking. But just now when I was doing that thing in the beginning, it reminded me of like Sumerian nameless, right? And again, you go back to this word is spirit thing. Like I've got a big name list for myself, right? Maybe want to make that bigger. Uh, but like when I do that, I'm being silly, like a child or something. Just I'm the Lord of Should. Um, and I think some of the people who did the nameless stuff, they were being silly. And sometimes the silliness was coming from the man with the names. Sometimes the silliness may be coming from the namer, right? The man of praise, um, who's found his golden rube. Um, and of course, sometimes you see these Mesopotamian nameless, especially maybe the Assyrian ones, and you probably see a lot of narcissism because they don't get it, right? Just like you don't get it. That some of these nameless can be silly, and so they don't get it, and they see these name lists, and they're narcissistic, and they're like, I want a big name list, and so they start naming themselves, and they're just terrible people most likely. That's one reason I love to study the Mesopotamians because they're just sometimes so much more interesting. And because I mean they're just like the rest of us, but there's these little tricksters within Mesopotamia that you can find. Um, yeah, tricksters, and so that's kind of the spirit. It's just like this silliness, right? Um. Anyways, well, you know what? I think I'll just talk about my belief in spirituality. Um, my first introduction into the tarot. I was at this campsite, and there was this girl there, and I started talking to her. She said she was a convert to Judaism, and I was like, in my mind, I'm like thinking, is that even possible, right? But she said she was, and anyway, she said she's just started doing tarot. And she wanted to know, if did I want to have a reading, right? And so I said, yeah, I'll have a reading. And I think she told me, and I could be wrong, but I think she told me that I was her first reading, and so I was honored. Uh, and she put 4 cards down, and I mean the beautiful thing about tarot is that you can put any configuration you want down, and each configuration can have its own special meaning, right? Um, because I think it's about the conversation. And so, but she put 4 cards down, and to this day, I'll put 4 cards down when I'm reading for myself. Um, but this one guy gifted me a deck. I hear you can only buy them or be gifted them. You can't. I don't know. I forgot what they said. But anyways, so she did 4 cards, and I remember the first card, and she was doing this deck that I'd never seen before. So I kind of remember the card, but not specifically. Like if I saw it again, I'd be like, "That's it." It had like 3 or more letters, and I remember at least 2 of them, or words, 3 or more words, and I remember at least 2 of them. But but it's personal. The last one, right? And I forgot the middle two. Like it's Tara. I feel bad that I forgot the middle two because she putting these cards down, and they were speaking to me. Um, the first card she put down was it was the world, but it was reversed, right? And so she, this is she's getting new to all this, so instead of doing her tarot thing, she goes to her little book. She has a little tarot book, and she looks up the card, and she looks up the card in reverse, right? Since it was reversed to me. And I mean, the card spoke to me, like the world in reversed, and She started telling me the meaning, and the meaning it was exactly what I was feeling. It's like I shamefully speaking, and I gotta defend myself here. Um, I don't see myself as the hero type, and I have to defend myself because, I think the hero's journey leads to narcissism, right? I think hero's journey is kind of very narcissistic, and the hero is sad a lot of the times. The man who wants to try to save the world, right? I've never been that guy, and that's why I'm trying to defend myself. When I was a kid, I wanted to learn this wisdom, and so I I tried to learn wisdom. I did, and the more that I learned, the more I started getting sad for all you guys. I did. I started getting sad for it, and the world started just creeping, like insidiously creeping onto my shoulders. Um, and it's about the conversation. The heavens are telling me, hey, the world's not on your shoulders. It's not, and get it off there, right? Release it. It's not up to you to save the world. Um, and it's like I hadn't even recognized that I'd become that person, right? Um, But I did, and that's one thing I needed to do. I needed to get the world off my shoulders. um, and so she's doing all this stuff, and I'm just all this stuff's happening within me. That I'm telling you right now, and I feel the conversation. I do, and it's beautiful thing, right? Um, like one of the powerful things recently to me was reading the book of Enoch, and or the book of everything, as I think it should be called, um, because it's got everything in there, right? Everything and anything you could want, it's right there. Um, so um, it said God will long suffer the unrighteous, and I'm just like, right? Just like it's their fault, um, and so that's releasing. Um, it's just up to me to do me, and love those around me. Um, but anyways, all this was going on inside of me, but I'm just sitting there, I'm not, and she's just la 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 la, and she goes on the next card la la. At one point, I forgot when, she looked up and she's like, "Is any of this resonating with you?" Because I'm just sitting there silently, and it was all resonating with me, and but that was again. This is my first introduction into the tarot, and so what I realized is that the tarot reader is just a medium. There's the word medium, and that's what she was doing. She was just being a medium, and I totally believe that powerful tarot readers are able to maybe not only see deeper but also pry maybe, and maybe even get involved in the conversation. But I don't know. Um, Naughty little tarot readers maybe, but yeah. So a lot of people don't understand tarot, but I think I do. Um, I again, like I said recently, some guy gave me some cards, and since then I think I've read for like two or three people maybe. Um, One of the first was it was this homeless girl. She was on the streets. She was with her boyfriend. I met her. Her boyfriend was off doing something else, and we're just sitting there talking. If I could find a homeless person to talk to, I'll go for it. And so she was there, and her and I just started talking. And I think she saw my tarot deck that I think I'd just gotten it, and she asked me for a reading, so I'm like, okay. I think I gave her four cards. Um, uh, and um, after giving putting four cards down, I started talking, and I started, and I'm for some of the cards, I had to look them up and look at the book, and but I instead of doing what that girl had done, I just thought, hey, the tarot reader is the medium. So yeah, I think I read some of the book to this girl, but then I'd stop and I just start, blah blah blahing, and I just be going with the flow. And I've seen other tarot readers read before, and You know, I think some of them are just extremely good scientists, maybe, but many are, I see them going with the flow. Um, and so that's what I did with this first tarot reading with this girl. You know, I'm just like blah 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 blah, and she was opening her eyes. You know, as I'm speaking, and it's like I had felt that feeling when I first um, had the tarot reading done to me. I felt the way that she was looking, although I probably didn't show it right. But I'm an I'm the OG American Ninja, totally. Um, but but I didn't know what was going on inside of this girl. I didn't. You know, something was. Um, and I was curious, obviously, but I'm just, doing my thing. And so, and it's about the conversation. I mean, if you're asking for the lottery numbers, then that, again, like I've said in another video previous to this, that's rude. Um, it's very rude, and of course, I think stuff like that is possible, but you have to be like right now, like if you think about tarot, because we're talking about tarot. Um, I probably wouldn't even be a journeyman in tarot. Uh, I know a bit, but I think if you work hard enough at it, and it's I mean it's work that you'd have to do all on your own, because I don't think you necessarily be able to find any books on it. But I think maybe figuring out the lottery numbers is possible. But you have to earn it. You have to climb that rope. I did I wrote a story about Moses, and I like my story about Moses because I think it's textually accurate. But in my story about Moses, none of the miracles happened. They didn't. Um, it was Moses and his little group of guys, secret society type guys, and they were doing their little behind the scenes manipulations. There wasn't actually all of this stuff occurring, because I think Moses earned it, and Moses was admired. Um, but I think, I mean, other than I consider myself to have done writing magic before. Um, Definitely. Just like, I think it's all about the craft, right? The art and the science of a thing. And sometimes they both feel magical. They do. Um, Seriously, both of them. They both feel magical, and then put them together, and there's more magic there, right? The art and the science of a thing. And I think it's possible to ask that question. What are the lottery numbers? No, they'll give you the answer, but you have to be able to earn the ability to hear that answer, I think. Because on the surface, it truly is a rude question. Um, because like you're treating an angel like Google, right? That's pretty rude. Um, and I like Google, but we shouldn't treat each other like Google, maybe. Uh, So yeah, no, that's part of, I believe in the veil. I think there's something on the other side. I don't know what. I definitely believe in ancestor spirits. Um, I believe in powerful ancestor spirits too. Like I'm no longer Catholic, but if I'm on a big fucking journey, um, and I'm traveling and I'm going through suffering, then I'm gonna ask the ancestor who is known as Saint Christopher for help. Not because I believe in Catholicism, but because when you learn this man's story, right? According to what I remember, Christopher decided to just carry people across a river. Like he became a human bridge, and anybody who needed to cross a river, he'd help them cross the river or something like that. And this is a very, if that story is true, then this is a very powerful ancestor spirit. Um, and so yeah, no, that's what I believe.